Hello, my friends. And thank you so much for coming to spend part of your Monday, October 30th with me. This is an early show tonight. It's only 6:30 here in New York. And for those of you that are across the world, maybe already Tuesday. So, I did a great show on Saturday night with Mike King from Profiling Evil. He came on the show and we talked about Blaise Thibodeau, who was the young man who was kidnapped by his doomsday prepper mom and uncle and was luckily found on the Canadian-Alaskan border on Friday night. So that was a really interesting show. If anybody was here for that, if you didn't catch that show, go back and catch the replay because it was really cool. I'm a big fan of Mike King's myself, so it was very cool to interview him and to do a show with him. Yeah, thank goodness he was found. Wild Lights Arts. That is correct. So for those of you who are just joining me for the first time, I come to you with 30 years experience as a trial lawyer in New York State and federal courts. And I'm also a mother of 5 and a legal analyst, commentator, blah, 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 YouTuber. And after Saturday night's show, I was looking for an idea to do tonight for a show. And I came across something really interesting. So everybody covered the Koberger hearings last week, right? Everybody did a video on it. Every lawyer, every news channel, Court TV, News Nation, Law and Crime, lots and lots of stories about the Koberger motion hearings. So I'm going to sum that up for you as the lawyer part of me in about 5 seconds. The motion to dismiss the grand jury indictment denied. Judge is going to allow cameras in the courtroom. He's going to control the cameras. That's it. That's what happened. But there was another more human, more interesting story that happened the same day that nobody covered. So now I'm going to come to you as a mother because I feel like the victims are getting lost in all of this, and I don't like it. I don't like that. If I put Koberger in the title of this video, I would have a lot more people here right now. And I didn't do that on purpose because I just wanted to test the theory and see. And look, we have 77 people right here because this is a tribute to ETHAN Chapin. And it's just wrong on so many levels. ETHAN Chapin, as you know, or you may know if you've been following the Idaho 4 case, was one of the 4 students who was tragically killed on November 13th of 2022. And it's coming up on the 1-year anniversary of this horrific event, crime. Brian Koberger was indicted and he's sitting in jail right now awaiting trial. We don't know when that's going to be yet. But ETHAN Chapin was at 1122 King Road because he was with his girlfriend, Xana Kernodle, and his friends Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonsalves. And this case needs to be about the 4 of them. It shouldn't be covered every time Brian Koberger sneezes. Like, why is that so much more interesting for viewers and for mainstream media to cover than it is to cover the lives of these 4 young people who were tragically cut short? ETHAN Chapin was a triplet. A lot of people don't even know that. I was talking to somebody today and they said, "What show are you doing tonight?" And I said, "This is what I'm going to talk about. I want to do a tribute to ETHAN Chapin. He was a triplet." And she said, "I had no idea he was a triplet." I said, "Well, a lot of people don't." He was 20 years old when he lost his life. He was 6'4". He was from Conway, Washington. He was a basketball player, and he was on the tennis team also, the tennis team and the basketball team at Mount Vernon High School. He loved the NFL and he loved country music. He started at the University of Idaho in the fall of 2021 with his brother and sister. All 3 triplets started as freshmen at the University of Idaho in the spring of 2021. He and his brother joined the same fraternity, Sigma Chi, and he majored in recreation, sport, and tourism management. Everyone who talks about him says that he was the nicest guy that you'd ever want to know. Just the happiest soul, a wonderful person. And he spent his summers working at a tulip farm in I want to pronounce this right. Skagit County. Skagit County? I want to say Skagit County. Skagit County, Washington. He worked at a tulip farm and he loved tulips. And in his memory, the tulip farm that he worked at named a variety of tulips after him. They're yellow and white tulips. And they call the tulips Ethan's Smile. You can buy the bulbs. And the owner of the tulip farm said the reason that they are yellow and white is because yellow stands for or symbolizes, I think, eternity. Wait, let me get this right. Let me go back to my notes. All right, those notes. Yellow symbolizes joy and white symbolizes eternity. And because Ethan's smile was iconic, they wanted to name these tulips for him. So Thursday, the same day that these Koberger hearings were held and got all of this attention, this happened. I'm going to show you the video, and I'm going to tell you that this video, when I first found it over the weekend, it's from a random station in, I think, Washington State. This video had 126 views when I found it. And that upsets me. So let's watch it, let's share it, and let's appreciate Ethan's legacy.
November 13th marks 1 year since 4 University of Idaho students were killed at a home just off campus. 4 beautiful students taken from their families in the prime of their young lives. Tonight, one of those victims, Ethan Chapin, was honored in a special evening at the U of I Sigma Chi fraternity house. Ethan and his brother Hunter are both members of that fraternity. Hunter was awarded the first 5K Sigma Chi Ethan Chapin Memorial Scholarship. People from all over the world donated more than $125,000 to this fund. It'll be a yearly scholarship from now on. Hunter was the unanimous choice to receive the award in his first year in honor of his beloved brother. Ethan's parents were in Moscow with Hunter and their daughter Maisie for this very special night. Future scholarships will go to those who best exemplify the character of Ethan. He was described as a wonderful and kind friend, fraternity brother, and human being. The money goes directly to that student's tuition, whoever's awarded that in the future. Our Maggie O'Meara will have much more from her trip to Moscow in the coming weeks.
Why is nobody covering this? Why is nobody covering this? Why am I the only person who thought that this was important enough to talk about? I don't get it, you guys. I just don't get it. This was a local, I think if you're from Washington, I think that was a local Washington channel. Nobody else picked it up. They gave out the first scholarship from the Ethan Chapin Scholarship Fund, and it was awarded to his brother Hunter at his fraternity. What a proud moment that something good is coming out of this horrible, horrible tragedy. And when I look at this, I look at his parents, Stacy and Jim Chapin, who have been, I'm not going to say very vocal, because they didn't really talk to the media until about 5 months after his death. But the way his mom has handled it, I mean, I need my tissues because I can't even, it really hits me. I can't imagine what it's like to lose a child. I know that so many of you have, because we've talked about a lot of these cases, and you're you're very open with what goes on in your lives, with your comments, and I try and respond to them. And I love that you're willing to share these things with me and all of the, the trauma that you've experienced. But I can't, it's a local channel out of Boise. Thank you, Isabel. I think that was the one from, that was Channel 4. No, I have 4 News coming up now. I think this is a Washington station. Yes, that makes sense because it was at the fraternity at the University of Idaho. Thank you for that, Isabel. But again, a small channel, right? Nobody would see this outside of Boise, except I happened to stumble on it scrolling through YouTube in the middle of the night, and it had 126 views. And it was upsetting to me. So I wanted to share with you. But Ethan's parents spoke out for the first time 5 months after his death. And I want to play a clip for you this is from 4 News. I like to go to the local channels for the coverage because I find that they do a more heartfelt job because it's personal to them. So this is the parents of Ethan speaking out for the first time. And this was 5 months post.
He spent his last day on this earth with his siblings, the 3 seen here at his sister Maisie's sorority formal, before spending time with Xana at his Sigma Chi fraternity and then Xana's home at 1122 King Street, where they were murdered just hours later. That house set to be demolished.
You think stuff like that never happens.
You do. You think it happens to other people. But I'm telling you, if it can happen to us, it can happen to anybody.
Both Maisie and Hunter are now back at school, preparing to graduate without their brother.
Hunter, he was kind of Ethan's wingman.
I mean, you realize when you're a triplet, you have spent your whole life together, the 3 of them.
Stacy and Jim lean on each other in what they're calling a shuttersome year of firsts, doing things they've always done, but for the first time without Ethan, preparing for milestones.
The one we have coming up first, 21st birthday.
That's going to be
We
tough.
have talked about the kids' 21st birthday forever.
We have.
That's going to be tricky.
Yeah, that is going to be a tricky time.
Yep.
Here at Tulip Valley Farms, Ethan worked in the fields planting bulbs, and now he's being remembered with his own.
Those are the tulips. I want everyone to buy them. I'm going to link the website to his foundation in the description of this video. And yeah, I'm going to highlight some comments here because I hope that you're as touched by this as I am, because it's just, with all of the other news that's going on right now, this is still sad, but in a different way. Oh.
Ethan's smile.
There have been, right now, 80,000 bulbs sold.
The Chapins have big intentions to give back to both their communities in Skagit Valley, Washington, where Ethan grew up, and Moscow, Idaho, with scholarships funded by proceeds from the Ethan Smile Foundation.
We've created something that is good, that Ethan would love. He loved people. He loved a great adventure.
Yeah.
And he was inclusive. If we could touch as many lives as he touched in 20 years in our lifetime, the world would be a better place.
The family knows they have hard days ahead. At the end of June, the suspect in these murders, Brian Koberger, will appear in court in Moscow, Idaho for a preliminary hearing.
And as we know, that preliminary hearing never happened because they indicted him by grand jury. But we're not here to talk about that. This past weekend was the triplets' 21st birthday. And that's why I'm bringing this to you. And also because they awarded the first scholarship in his name last Thursday, which was the same day as the Koberger hearings. And this story didn't get covered. It wasn't important enough. And I find it hard to believe, I didn't even see it on East Idaho News, you guys. I saw a lot of stuff on East Idaho News about Blaise Thibodeau, but I didn't see one thing about Ethan Chapin's scholarship being awarded to his brother. And to me, that's an incredibly heartwarming story. Somebody said in the chat that their dad is a twin and they can't imagine losing they're multiple, and I also have twins, so I know exactly what this is like. They sat down on Thursday with a local reporter from a Seattle station, King 5 Seattle, and did an interview. And I'd just like to play this. It's about 5 minutes, but I think that it's really important because it shows how his parents are handling this with such grace, and how they just sort of need to be there for their other children. And that is really what is driving them right now. And it's just, I mean, it's just such a great lesson. I don't know how I would handle this. I don't know that I'd be able to handle this. So let's take a quick watch.
How are you after almost a year?
It's shocking it's been a year. We spent, I call it a period of time. There was about 5 months that I call it the depths of hell. I mean, we went there. We've been there. I think you have to go there in order to start the journey out. That is the process of healing and figuring out how you live your life without this person that's been in it forever. I have a place kind of where Ethan lives in there, and it's a safe spot. For me, but I think overall, under all of these circumstances, I think we're doing well. This thing took one of our kids, but it can't take the rest of us.
I think about Maisie and Hunter a lot because I'm a multiple. And there's a unique, special connection that multiples have that other siblings do not have.
Yeah.
I know that. And so I've thought about them often, having lost a piece of themselves in losing their brother.
Jim and I can sit here and tell you what it feels like to lose a child. I honestly cannot tell you what it must feel like for Maisie and Hunter to lose literally a piece of them. It's profoundly different for them than it is for us.
They came home mid-May after school was out, and they spent all summer at our Idaho home, and both worked. And it seems like they healed a lot during that period of time. It's just going to take time for us all.
When we send our kids off to school, to college, we think it's one of the safest places they could be.
Yes.
I mean, Moscow, Idaho?
Not in your wildest imagination or nightmares even. Could you imagine something like this?
We were at Parents' Weekend the week before. I mean, literally the week before, and just had the best time with the kids. And you would never think that something like this could ever happen.
It was the best weekend. And we were in the King Street house that weekend. I mean, we were like, these kids are living their best life.
Did that get anybody else? My twins, actually, so people are like, I didn't know you had twins. I do have twins. And actually, we're applying to colleges this year. So this hits home. You send your kids to college and you think it's going to be the safest place. And every parent's nightmare. No parent should ever lose a child. It's just not supposed to happen that way.
You put a post on social, you sent it to me, that you spend no time being angry. That would not be energy well spent.
We don't use that word anger.
We can't bring Ethan back. I mean, let's all be honest. Nothing we can do can bring him back. And when you start to feel angry, it literally can take you down a rabbit hole that just isn't a healthy place to be.
So what does justice look like for you in this?
Oh, I have not been asked that question.
The person who is in jail right now, that it's gonna take care of itself. You know, nothing we can do or say or anything is going to change what's going to happen to that individual.
You have no plans to even go to the trial, to even be in the courtroom from start to finish?
No, there is no closure. The only closure I have is knowing that my family is good and healthy, and we move on with our lives and do what we were doing prior to this terrible thing that's happened to our family.
It's a choice. You know, you just have to tuck that kid somewhere in there. And I'm thankful for the 20 years we had with him.
Totally.
100%.
So you have a tattoo on your arm.
So it's from a note that Ethan wrote me, probably the 4th grade.
Okay, stop. Get the tissues. I didn't know about this. Did anybody know about this? This is her tattoo. This is a note that he wrote to her when he was little, and it's in his handwriting.
You know, we just signed.
So you have a tattoo
I do.
on your arm.
So it's from a note that Ethan wrote me, probably the 4th grade. And, you know, we just signed it. I love you, Mom.
We are coming back up onto Parents Weekend and a big birthday for
Big
your kids,
birthday.
21.
21 was something that we talked about forever. Having these triplets turn 21 was going to be the greatest, the greatest night ever. That night cannot take away from Maisie and Hunter. So, you know, Parents Weekend, it'll be a little bit camouflaged in Parents Weekend, and then we'll go out and we're going to celebrate Maisie and Hunter. We cannot forget that that's the priority.
Is there anything that you would want to share with parents who've suffered just a horrific loss?
Find something positive in every day. Find something that you feel like brings you joy in a day. There is always something there, no matter how dark the day feels. We found it every single day. He was selfless, caring, generous, and warm. And wherever he went, the friends would all swarm.
We want to pass on his positive energy.
This tale, the story of the boy who wore blue, is a message for everyone, including you.
That's his legacy for
That
you.
is.
Yeah, it is. Life is short, so give it your best. Be happy, smile, and encourage the rest.
My sincere gratitude for Stacy and for Jim for sharing their story. This sweet book, The Boy Who Wore Blue, it is on sale right now. A portion of the proceeds from each book will go to Ethan's Smile Foundation. The foundation honors his love of life and people and adventure, and will provide post-high school scholarships for students from the town of Conway, where he grew up, and students at the University of Idaho. And finally, we want to wish Ethan's siblings, Maisie and Hunter, a happy 21st birthday, which they will celebrate this weekend.
Oh, it kills me. Kills me. Anyone? Color and Cow with Joanna, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I will buy my family some ice cream tonight. I'm going to take my kids out for ice cream. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to need it after this. I don't know. I don't. Do you think that you'd be able to handle a situation like this with such grace? I don't know if I could do it. I don't know what's driving them. I don't know, if it's that they feel they need to be there for their other children, which really is so important because how many families have broken up after the loss of a child, or how many families the parents become so obsessed with justice, maybe for the lost child, that the other children sort of get left behind. And all of the focus and all of the anger goes into the child who's been lost or killed. And the other children are just sort of left hanging out there in the wind. I don't know. That's where every time I watch any news lately, I feel like crying. Yeah, I know. It's like that, right? There's nothing really happy going on out there. Christy, my dad was a twin and they had a very special bond. This is very sad. Yeah. Yes. Wild Lights Arts is big grace energy. Very impressive. Very impressive. Yes, I do have twins. They'll be going to college next year. Gadsden Freedom Outdoors, your siblings are triplets. Oh, that must be very interesting. Being a sibling of triplets. I feel bad for my youngest because she's the youngest of 5 and the sister of identical twin girls. That can't be easy. Yes. I'm going to link the organization below, and they've already raised $125,000 for this scholarship fund, and I hope that people keep donating. It is called ethanssmile.org, and it's the Ethan's Smile Foundation. On that website, they have the link to the book that his mom wrote. They have a link to buy the bulbs and also to donate to the scholarship fund. And that is my tribute to Ethan Chapin. Wondering what you guys have to say about that. I can't believe nobody's covering this. Black Rose 11. It's strange how it may be the best time and worst time for others. I felt that way when my husband didn't come home from war and others did. My heart breaks for these awesome parents and sibling. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that happened to you and your husband and your family. And I don't think you ever really heal from that, right? It never really goes away. You know, they talk about the 5 stages of grief, and it's coming up on the 1-year anniversary of this tragic, horrific massacre and the death of their son. And it seems like they've moved through the stages. Not everybody goes through all the stages in order: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. It's what Elizabeth Kubler-Ross called the 5 stages of grief. Oh, Donna Marie, thank you. Did you put the link for oh, there, she put the link in the chat for the tulips. Wendy says, no, it doesn't go away. Some days are better than others. Hi, Tracy from Bundy, Australia. You are covering it. Thank you. Thank you. They are an inspiration to so many. God bless. Yeah, because we see what's going on, right? We see what's going on with this case and how some of the other families are very pro death penalty and very, very vocal about their anger, and they have every right to be. And I'm not, I can't judge the way that anybody deals with grief, and I hope I never have to deal with it either. But they're such an example. The Chapins are such an example and a shining light for everyone who, God forbid, ever has to go through something like this. It's just the fact that they can just hold on and try and make something good out of their son's memory is just so incredibly, I don't even have the words. It's just so incredibly powerful and so admirable and shows such integrity and such grace. And if their children are even 10% the incredible people that they are, they're going to be amazing as well. Hi, Z. Do you think they will have a victim's advocate read a statement from them to represent Ethan? Well, that would not even happen until the sentencing phase of the trial. So we'll see. I mean, that's a very, very long way off. And I would imagine it depends on how they're feeling at that time. Their feelings may change, but they said that they don't want any part of it. They don't want to go to the trial. They just want to put this behind them, and it's the only way for them to move forward. And we've seen some of these cases that drag on for years and years and years, and the hell that the family goes through every time these cases get adjourned and pushed and moved. And it can be really even more devastating to the family when these things drag on. Hello, Natasha. See that? I'm sad how little viewers you have when only mentioning Ethan, right? If this was a salacious title, there'd be 1,000 people in here or so. But I could have mentioned Koberger in the title, but I didn't, because it's not about him. It's not about him. This needs to be more about the victims. And the fact that they just had their 21st birthday over the weekend and they awarded the scholarship in his name to his brother. His brother. How heartwarming was that? Oh, hi, Tiff. I rewound and just got to the tattoo and lost thanks for bringing this to our attention. You are very welcome. Hello, Amber. Thanks for being here. You'll have to rewind and watch the sad parts. Yes, so gorgeous. And not just, physically, but he was apparently just the nicest kid that anybody would want to know. I haven't heard one bad thing about him. Everybody who talks about him in such high regard. Such high regard. Hi, Great Dane Mom. My birthday is 9 days after this tragedy, considering my kiddo chooses to live in Moscow 9 years after her graduation from U of I. I wish folks understood how much the vandals are a lifetime. Yeah. Yeah, and it's very sad for the community. I'm sure, I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to do something to commemorate the 1-year anniversary or if they're just going to ignore it. Do you know? If your daughter lives there, maybe you know. Some other sad news this weekend is the passing of Matthew Perry, which was very shocking but not surprising, as he said in his own autobiography. He said, "When I die, people will be shocked but not surprised." And very sad for all of us. I feel like Matthew Perry was a part of our pop culture for so long. Great Dane Mom, nothing so far. Nothing to commemorate, huh? It's coming up soon. Hello, Scott Messerschmidt. Hi, Tim. I guess you're talking about Matthew Perry. He did have a troubled soul. R.I.P. Yeah. Never got married, never had kids. He talks a lot in his book. I didn't read his book, but I read excerpts from his book. He talks about how he broke up with Julia Roberts, and he broke up with Julia Roberts because he felt that he would never be good enough for her. And he says that when he broke up with her, she was dumbfounded. You're breaking up with me. Very sad. Very sad. Anybody have anything else they want to add here? He was raised by wonderful parents. Nurse Corky says, yep, 100%. Did anybody watch the Maya trial today? Princess Mish. Yeah, I'm glad it's not about him too. Doesn't need to always be about him. Nice that newscaster wore blue. Oh, color and chat with Joanna. I'm hearing the audio right now. It's haunting to hear him narrate. Oh, does he narrate his own audiobook? That's interesting. I'm sure everybody's going to want to go listen to that book now. It's terrible. For those of you who don't know, Matthew Perry was found dead in his hot tub at his LA home, and apparently was called in as a water emergency or a drowning. So I don't know that. Oh, his co-stars just did release a statement. We were waiting for this, but it hadn't come out yet. Well, not really. It says we are so utterly devastated. Nothing more than that. I've been waiting to hear what Jennifer Aniston has to say about this, because I'm sure that she is devastated as well. They were like a family. They were like a family. Yes, Team Maya all the way. I have, if you're new here, I have Team Maya merch that I put in my merch shop. I designed it myself. Team Maya, all the proceeds are going to go to CRPS research. So maybe somebody could drop the link in the chat so that anybody who wants to support CRPS and Team Maya can get a really cool t-shirt, tank top, sweatshirt, long sleeve shirt. I think I made a hat too. The Maya trial was spicy today, Victorine. Let me tell you what, that expert witness that the defense called was a train wreck. It was a train wreck. I couldn't stop watching. I mean, I felt so bad for her, but I could not stop watching. It was a train wreck. I think, yeah, somebody just asked in here. Yes, all witnesses were evasive, especially Dr. Levy, who seemed to have not researched. She didn't even review her report before testifying today. I mean, she was, it was mind-numbing that she didn't even review her report, her notes, nothing. And it was as if she walked onto the stand and she was on Zoom. She just walked in there blind. She had nothing. She knew nothing. She remembered nothing. It was a train wreck. I think I'll do another battle of the experts, and I'll put her testimony with her plaintiff's expert counterpart, and we'll do that the way I did the expert's testimony for the last expert's testimony that I did for hospital procedures and policies. We did Dr. Corcoran, and Mark Anderson was the defense expert on hospital policy and procedure. Wild Lights Art, does his autobiography talk about what created his troubled soul? I haven't read it, but I think this is going back to Matthew Perry. It was his addictions. He went to rehab 65 or 70 times. And he just was not able to get sober. I think in the end he was sober, and Hank Azaria came out and made a statement and said he took me to rehab the first time I went. He helped me get sober. And also something Matthew Perry did recently was open up a sober home for people to try and help them get sober, which is a place where people go after rehab to get sober. So very sad that he was trying to turn everything around. And it may be that there were no drugs or alcohol even in his system. It may just be that his body had been so beaten down by all of the drugs and alcohol his entire life that eventually there comes a point where it just stops working. Maybe he fell asleep and he drowned in the hot tub. I don't know. I mean, I can't say that there are any drugs or alcohol involved. It's just so sad because he really tried so long. And he did, his pickleball coach came out and said he played a 2-hour pickleball match in the morning. So yeah, we'll do something. We'll do something on the Sally Smith proffer. That was crazy because her testimony, she tried to be so nice and kind. And then you saw like the switch flipped when she came in and did that proffer, and the jury didn't see the proffer. That's right. But I think that they could see that when she came in to testify, she had been prepped. She had been prepped on everything from her mannerisms to her speech, to her hair, to her wardrobe, to her demeanor, to smile more. I mean, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. The case is supposed to end on Thursday, right? Or Wednesday? It's supposed to go to the jury no later than November 8th. C says, I think rehab did help him. He was way more lively than in the past years and from support from his old co-stars. Yeah. Oh, hello, Amber. Not to get off topic, but can you do a live on the craziness of the Delphi case and the judge? I would love your insights on this. Yeah. Sure, we can go off topic now because I'm going to cut out the portion about the ETHAN Chapin tribute as a separate video anyway. But since we're all here, whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm down to talk about. And the Delphi case is crazy to me. I've got a lot of things to say about that. And that requires a deep dive of at least a good 90 minutes on a stream, at least. I mean, there's so much there. Where did the evidence, where did those photos come from? Why were they taken off the case? Why did they willingly, voluntarily withdraw as counsel? Are they being threatened? I don't think they withdrew as counsel because of the leak. If the photos and the documents came from their office, I don't think they would withdraw based on that alone. If it was a rogue employee who got in there and somehow released all those documents, I think they must be getting threatened. I mean, that's my opinion, but we'll see. Tim says they were being forced, apparently. Yeah, to withdraw. I mean, attorneys don't withdraw from cases lightly. Like that is, when you are a defense attorney, your job, and you are like, that's your mission, is to ensure that defendants have a fair trial. And whether, people ask me this all the time, like, how could you ever defend someone you thought was guilty? And people who are defense attorneys are a very special breed. They believe that everyone deserves a fair trial, and they believe in the Constitution, and they believe that it is their job to help their client get a fair trial, whether they think he's guilty or not. So, I don't take that lightly that they just withdrew. Tim says, yes, by the judge. Hi, Lat Cali girl. One. Oh my God, Petito and V Laundry, they offered a settlement. Yeah, they've been offering settlements. I think they've keep rejecting them. I don't know if did they accept a settlement? Settlement terms are usually confidential. So unless the case is settled and they say it's, subject to a confidentiality agreement, they won't tell us how much it's settled for. I don't know. Danielle Alexander, from what I read, the judge gave them an ultimatum: either withdraw or I will embarrass you in front of the court. Oh, really? Well, I don't think that anybody could be more embarrassed than the attorneys who used ChatGPT to draft their federal briefs. Does anybody know about that case? Talk about being embarrassed. They used ChatGPT. These were New York lawyers too, by the way. So mark on the New York lawyer bar, but they used ChatGPT to draft their federal briefs and federal court rules are like 10 times more strict than state court rules. And they cited cases in their briefs that didn't exist. ChatGPT just made them up. And when they sent their briefs, when they served their briefs on the other side, the attorney was nice enough to call them and say, hey, listen, I can't find these cases. Can you tell me where to find these cases? Like this, they don't exist. And they doubled down on it. They were just like, oh yeah, no, they're out there. Maybe it's just a slip up. Maybe it was never published. And they were sanctioned, and it was a big problem. They even doubled down in front of the judge, like, oh, judge, we can't afford to pay for Westlaw. It's really expensive. When I was a young lawyer, I used to have to go to the library and look up cases in those big books. But now there's Westlaw for that, which is a service that does cost a lot of money monthly, depending on how many users that you have. But he wasn't using their poverty as an excuse. But that was a crazy case. Yeah, lawyers being criminals with the help of ChatGPT. I mean, really, can you imagine like people that rely on that to do their legal research? Yeah, they did. They didn't do their homework. They submitted fake case law, and they didn't even look. They didn't even shepherdize those cases to make sure that they were real, because they weren't even real. The names were fake. The citations were fake. The judges were real, and I think, in fact, somebody like. Part of their punishment was they had to write letters to all the judges who were involved in these fake cases and tell them about it. It's crazy. I don't even know if it was a criminal case. I mean, this was a public defender or private defense attorney. I don't even know if it was a criminal case. I think it was a civil case. I'm not sure. I didn't do that deep of a dive into it, but it is just, something I tell my kids, like, do not use ChatGPT for homework, and here's why. And then I tell them the story of these lawyers who did it. What is ChatGPT? Does somebody want to tell Teresa what ChatGPT is? Teresa, it's like a program where you can ask. It's like AI, artificial intelligence, and you can ask it a question. You can ask it to write an essay for you on a topic, and it will do it. Craziness. Yeah, so we'll do a little something on Delphi. Let's we got to finish up the Maya case. I haven't been covering it every night because it takes hours, but I do the what I think the important witnesses are, and then try and compare and contrast them. So maybe we'll do Sally Smith and Kathy Beatty on the same night, but because they testified on different days, but we can do them all on the same night. The last nurse on testimony today was something I'd love to get your views on. Okay, good, great. So we'll take a look at her. We'll take a look at their expert compared to the other expert. And DNA wreak havoc on the body, and some of it's not repairable. Yeah, drugs and alcohol, I think you're saying, yeah. Back to Matthew Perry. Like the ADD chat, ADHD. I don't think you can call it ADD anymore. Tim says, I thought he was guilty, but I'm starting to wonder. This case is starting to get weird on another level. Well, I've been speaking out on some other channels, and when Court TV, or I think it was Court TV, I don't want to dox them if it wasn't them, but when they made those graphics about the symbols that were found at the scene, and they said that F on the tree that was painted in one of the girls' blood was painted. Like, that's what it says in the motion papers. It's painted on there. And of course, the crime scene text did not even take the bark of the tree or the sticks that were on top of the girls' bodies, allegedly making these symbols that were supposed to be like runes. But it says painted, and Court TV made some graphic that made it look like blood spatter. And they were using it on their talking head and saying, this doesn't look to me like it was a letter F or something. And it was clearly stated that it was painted and not blood spatter. And I don't know, the whole thing is weird. And then the whole thing about the yeah, Becky, thanks, it was Court TV. Bye, Princess Mish, see you later. I just thought when they okay, so they had the whole argument about the prison guards wearing those Odinist patches or the patches or whatever on their uniforms, and everybody was saying there's no way they could ever wear anything that was not official corrections officer patches on their uniforms. That's ridiculous. And then they gave affidavits saying that they do have patches, or they did have patches on their uniforms, but it wasn't really Odinism. It was some other kind of paganism. Yeah, I think the lawyers did withdraw, but now one says he wants to come back on the case. There's so much to it that it's really hard to jump into just for a second. But I don't know. I was starting to wonder after the corrections officers came out and said, yes, we did have those patches on our uniforms. And then I'm like, everybody's calling these lawyers who made that motion crazy and all the things that they laid out, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Everybody press the like button while you're in here. We're not getting a big crowd tonight because we do not have a salacious title, but that's what happens. Erica Olson, how about the one that posted LSAT scores, whole family tree, and cited Dred Scott? I don't know that case. Wildlife arts. I remember sitting in the law library in Boston pretending to read huge law books when I was like 5 while my dad was in the stacks. Yep. Ain't that the truth? Here's the link for the Team Maya merch if anybody wants to support. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're catching up on the Gilgo Creep. Okay, well, we've been we've been living with this case on Long Island since 1996, and that is crazy. Crazy that they finally may have connected 2 more victims to him. And I hate to say that I told you so, but I've been saying all along that all of these bodies are probably the same killer. Why would we have one killer dumping 11 or 12 bodies in the same stretch of Ocean Parkway? Just because there were different MOs, some of the bodies were whole, some of the bodies were chopped up. So that's interesting that now they may have connected, at least they put Karen Vergata in his house. We know that. Hello, DK. Thanks for coming. Thanks for your coverage and all these tough cases. Blessings. Yeah, it's hard to keep everything straight in my head. Oh, thank you, Danielle. Yeah, it is very cute. It's very cute. I have not been able to get into the Markel case. There's just too many things going on at the same time. It's insane. Sometimes there's nothing to cover, and then sometimes there's everything to cover. Yes, Callie girl. Yes, the blackjack dealer called in. So if you guys haven't seen this episode that I did on the Long Island serial killer case, I was on with Oblivious Benson. If you know who she is, I don't think she's here tonight because she's in a different time zone, so it's a little bit earlier. And I asked if anybody wanted to call in and just talk, which was a risk, but I did it anyway. And a woman called in and she told us the story of how 20 years ago, she was a blackjack dealer at Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut. And she dealt blackjack to Rex Heuermann for 8 hours straight. He sat at her table and he terrorized her for 8 hours straight, saying crazy stuff to her. Like, oh, while you're here, your husband is at home and he's letting other women in your house and he's letting them touch all your stuff. And she never, ever forgot it. And she never forgot his face. And she just dealt blackjack to him. So when another witness comes out and says, oh, I was dating a detective at the time and we went from New York City and we picked up this other woman and we went to Heuermann's house for a swingers party and we left that other girl there and it's Karen Vergata. I mean, people say, oh, how could she remember that? Well, my friend remembers dealing blackjack to him 20 years ago and it wasn't as crazy of a circumstance as this woman who came out to John Ray. So that's crazy now. Yeah, Wildlight's Art. That was a great conversation with the blackjack dealer. Highly recommend, although I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Ew. I know the fact that, we asked her about that, Teresa, that the pit boss should have taken her away from the table. But she said that at the time, it didn't rise to the level of misconduct that they would remove a customer from the table, especially one that was, spending a lot of money there. So they didn't. So that was crazy. Yeah, I agree on Gildo 100%. I know that he gave an interview, John Ray. He gave a couple. He's been doing the rounds. I'm going to see if I can get him on here because I met him in court when I went to the James Burke hearing. So I have his bat phone number. I'm going to give him a call and see if he'll come on, but I wanted to let the other interviews die down a little bit so we'd have something new to talk about maybe. Tracy says he may have left a body trail all over the country. Yeah, it's true. I did another show on the Atlantic City 4 and whether he could be connected to that because everyone says, no way. But go back and watch that show. I have a playlist of all the Long Island serial killer episodes that I've done. And they're the Atlantic City 4. The East, what are those called? The East Side Strangler cases. Wildlight Arts says, I agree, Teresa. He was subtly psychologically torturing her, which is telling it how insidious abuse can be. Yep. I don't know if you're talking about the blackjack dealer or the wife. Yeah. Hi, Aunt Phoebe. Aunt Phoebe. I just want to thank you because when I opened up my memberships, you were my first member to join. So thank you, Aunt Phoebe. I really appreciate you. And I haven't seen you in chat in a while, but I was waiting for you to come in so that I could tell you. I believe you have the capacity to remember the weird ones, especially those that frighten you. Yeah, especially if they're 6'5" and look like an ogre. Right? Crazy. Yeah, he does have a lot, or he did have a timeshare in Las Vegas. He does like to gamble. Yep. Wendy says, I think he's connected to Atlantic City too. I think so too. Go back and watch my video. What I'm gonna do when all this stuff comes out, I'm gonna go back and pull all the little clips from all the videos that I've done and say, see, I was right. See, I was right. See, I was right. That would be a fun video to do. Caroline Ciano says he was baiting the blackjack dealer. He's a hunter. Yep. Which now is why it's so crazy that they may be able to connect Shannon Gilbert to him as well. Because I was saying that too. I said that on another live that I did. I said, what if Rex Heuermann was driving down Ocean Parkway to visit the Gilgo 4 because Shannon, or to visit the bodies that he had already put there. And when Shannon ran out of the neighborhood, she ran onto Ocean Parkway and he just happened to stumble upon her. That was, I thought, could be something that might happen. But people are saying now that when they go back and listen to Shannon's 911 call, that you can clearly hear his voice in the background. I don't know about that. But I did hear that 911 call again the other night, and there is someone who sounds like it could be his voice, but the only time that we've ever really heard his voice was in that that interview that French it was a French magazine author, I think, did of him, and it was very quickly taken down from YouTube, but I think we played a clip of it, and his voice is very much not like you think it would sound. It's very high pitched. And I mean, I heard him say a few words in court the 2 times I was there, but nothing more than, not guilty and yes, Your Honor. So it's hard to judge whether that's his voice on the 911 call of Shannon Gilbert, but it sure is interesting. Hi, Roseanne. I still think he's connected to AC4. I lived there when they found them. They were all buried toward the east. Yeah, all the heads were facing east, right? Lake Tahoe, tied up and tortured. Yeah. I mean, look, maybe he was dismembering when he was younger and stronger. And if he's related to Karen Vergata, which if we believe the witness that John Ray has uncovered, she went to the house with her boyfriend and Karen Vergata on the night that she went missing, which was in February, Valentine's Day of 1996, which was the last time her family heard from her. And if he was dismembering back then, because her legs were found 3 months later, floating up on Fire Island, her skull wasn't found until 15 years later. So maybe he just thought like, okay, the Gilgo 4 went missing in 2007, beginning in 2007. Maybe after 10 years, he was thinking, what's the point? Like, it's a lot of work for me to do all of this dismembering and nobody's finding these body parts anyway. So what does it matter? Right? Or he just got too tired. Yes. Yes. Thank you, New Hampshire woman. Thanks for being a member. He changed to an easier MO as he got older. Yes. And I found finally, you know how I say there's always a case when you're writing a motion for court, there's always a case that proves your position. You can always find a case in your favor. I had to find an expert that agreed with me. And finally I found one profiler who said, of course they changed their MO, because everybody was coming out and saying, there's no way it's the same person. No way the Manorville butcher also did the Gilgo 4. And I didn't believe it for a second. Hello, Alan Robinson. The info is very interesting. He does. He looks totally different. People say that. Yeah, he looks totally different now than in that interview. I can't imagine the fright these women felt seeing that face. Yeah. Or maybe he just has like, a dual person, like he's like Jekyll and Hyde sometimes, not necessarily meaning that he's got multiple personality disorder, but he can be like this, like, this nice, charismatic kind of guy when he's trying to get business. And then he turns into a violent, homicidal maniac when he's, with an escort, let's say. I could totally see that happening too. Hello to all my mods in the chat, Scott, Rochella, Wendy, Peter, Miss Donna Marie. Thank you all for showing up tonight. I love you guys so much. Keeping the chat classy. Black Rose. So if you guys have any show ideas, let me know what you want to see. I think we'll come back and we'll do some Maya catch up. And you can always leave some comments in the comment section. I always go back and read the comments. Just be respectful. You can come for me in the comments. That's another merch item that I have. Come for me in the comments, but it can be respectful debate. And if it's a personal attack on me or my guest or my moderators or each other, it will be deleted. And if you use the cursey words, it will also be deleted. So keep it classy. It's not hard. Keep it classy. I had some comments the other night from the show that I did with Mike King that were pretty mean. So, I don't mind a difference of opinion, but the personal attacks are not necessary and they won't be tolerated. If you don't like someone's point of view, you can point it out in a nice way. You don't have to be hateful. There's too much hate and vitriol in the world, and I'm not going to have it on my channel. I'm just not. Hi, Mama Montana. Thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate you. Welcome to Melanie's Little Cupcakes. That's my logo. It says, I am not a cupcake. And the little sign over here says, you can't make everyone happy. You are not a cupcake. I am not a cupcake. But if you join my membership, you can be a cupcake because we can make each other happy, just not everyone else. If you don't like it, you can change the channel. That's what I say. Thank you. Thank you, Dawn, for saying that was a great show with Mike. Yeah, Dee, I know. It was really mean. Oh, wait, hold on. That was the wrong one. Maya Ketchup is much needed and appreciated. Any commentary because I don't understand. Yeah, I will do that. Yeah, people do need to learn how to respectfully disagree. There were some real personal attacks in there. And yes, Victorine, we pride ourselves in having a kind chat because my moderators are the best on YouTube and they will kick the bullies out and time them out. And they will not let anybody bully you. So don't be afraid to come into the chat. Everyone's very friendly. They will love to engage with you, introduce yourself. And it's a really nice community that we're building here. Yeah, it is awful. I don't know if I already highlighted this one, but this is the one I meant to highlight. Yeah, I know. I agree. Look, anytime you talk about religion or politics, people get angry and they become vicious. And it wasn't an anti-religious show that we did, but I agree. This is not the place to fight. Thank you, Aaron. I agree. There's too much fighting in just everywhere else in the world. Like, why can't we come on YouTube and just be nice to each other and just have fun? Why can't we just hang out like a bunch of friends, talk about stuff we're all interested in and just be cool, be cool, be kind, be classy. It's not hard. Ooh, that's a good t-shirt idea. What do you think? Be cool, be kind, be classy. I like it. Look at me coming up with ideas on the fly. I love it. Yes. Thank you, Dennis. People need to stop worrying about feelings and act like adults. Yes, I agree. But then again, like, you don't need to like intentionally try and hurt someone's feelings either. Like, it's just mean. some of the mean comments like that I've gotten about me, my eyebrows. Somebody said my eyebrows were I'm trying to watch your video, but your eyebrows are screaming at me and I just can't. I'm like, what? Okay. Yeah. Great. That's good. Be cool, be kind, be me. Like it. Oh yeah, there's an Amazon link if you want to do that. Be a cupcake. Heidi, I didn't agree with everything the chat was saying, but it wasn't attacking chat either. I just let it scroll by. Yeah, you can just let it scroll by. And I love Mike King too. That was a great show. I find the chat to be very kind and respectful. There's always trolls rolling in, but your mods are good at what they do. They are. And if you've watched the Maya trial live on Law and Crime or Court TV, you know how vicious chats can be. And I mean, I don't know if they don't have mods or they don't, but they can be really vicious. People are afraid to speak up in those chats. And I know that a lot of my viewers and subs have CRPS and they're very, very familiar with the disease and they know how painful it is and other chronic pain conditions. And they're afraid to speak up in those chats because it's vicious. It is vicious. Yes, Nancy, people are mean. There's no need for it. Hi, Tim. You banned Law and Crime too, huh? Yeah, I was surprised too, because I always thought it to be, I always found it to be a very, engaging channel. And I like Anjanette Levy. She's Law and Crime, right? And Jesse Weber. Like I like them. But the live streams with the chatters has a little lot to be desired. Crazy. Even really the mods are mad? Huh. Really, the mods are even mean. That's really interesting. We don't play that here. We don't play that here. All right. Well, I have some ideas to work on for you. So I will see you again very soon. But I would just like to ask you to just please all hit the like button on the way out. It's not a huge crowd. So, whatever we can do to pump up the algorithm would be amazing. If you want to subscribe because you like what you hear, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you will never miss a thing. And I will see you guys real soon. Thank you to my moderators, my subscribers, my viewers, my replay viewers. I couldn't do this thing without you. So I love you guys. Peace out. And I'm going to see you guys real soon. Thanks again.